Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Game On. If you are new here, this is the place where we talk all things about gaming, from new releases to hidden gems and everything in between. Now, today's game is one that's really special to me, especially as a lifelong Star Wars fan. We are talking about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I've played it start to finish and I have got a lot to say. So let's grab our lightsabers, hop into hyperspace, and dive right in. So, Fallen Order was developed by Respawn Entertainment, the same team behind Titanfall and Apex Legend. It came out in late 2019, and right from the trailers, I was hooked. I mean, a story driven Star Wars game with lightsaber combat and actual character development? Yo, sign me up. The game is set between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope during a really dark time in the galaxy. The Jedi's have been wiped out, the Empire is growing stronger, and the galaxy is full of fear and control. So you play as Cal Kestis, a young Jedi Padawan hiding from the Empire. He's laying low, working a normal job, and trying to trying not to get caught until, of course, everything changes. From the first hour of the gameplay, you can tell this isn't another Star Wars cash in. It's actually is like it feels like part of a larger universe, and that's what pulled me right away. Let's talk about the story because honestly, it's one of the game's strongest parts. After Cal is forced out of hiding, he ends up on a journey to find an ancient holocron, basically a Jedi USB stick that holds a list of force sensitive children across the galaxy. The idea is to use it to rebuild the Jedi Order, but of course, the Empire and especially the Inquisitors are after him. Uh, the story does a great job of balancing personal moments with big Star Wars lore. You can learn about Cal's past, his struggles with fear and failure, and how Order 66 affected him emotionally. There's one flashback where you actually play through the moment the clones betray the Jedi's. That scene alone gave me goosebumps. It's emotional, tense, and heartbreaking. Throughout the game, Cal meets allies like Siri, a former Jedi who cut herself from the Force, and Grease, a grumpy but lovable pilot. These characters feel real and their own scars, humor, and motivations. Is it the best Star Wars story ever? Maybe not, but it's definitely one of the better ones in recent years. I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. Well paced, emotional, and true to the universe. Alright, now let's get into the gameplay. The heart of any good action adventure game. Fallen Order is often compared to Dark Souls and Sekiro. And yeah, I get that. The combat is slower and more thoughtful than your typical hack and slash. You have to learn enemy patterns, time your dodges, and manage your health. It's not brutally hard, but it makes every fight feel meaningful. The lightsaber combat is super satisfying. You've got light attacks, heavy attacks, then force powers like push, pull, and they all blend together nicely. When you land a perfect parry or reflect a blaster bolt back at the stormtrooper, it just feels right. You'll unlock new abilities as you go, which keeps the gameplay fresh, and the skill tree gives you a good mix of a combat upgrades and force enhancement. Outside of combat, there's a lot of platforming and puzzle solving. Some areas reminded me of Uncharted and also Tomb Raider, especially when you're climbing walls, then swinging from ropes and unlocking ancient tombs. Yeah, now the puzzles. Some are fun, others not so much. A few of them are clever, but a few felt like they were just there to slow me down. Still, they break up the action and they fit the theme of Jedi training and ancient mysteries. Now let's talk about the world design because Fallen Order really shines here too. You visit several planets, each with its own unique style, layout, and wildlife. There's the windy, mysterious, then ruins of Zepho, the lush Wookiee planet. I don't even remember the name. The dangerous jungles of Dathomir and few more I won't spoil. Each location feels lived in and full of history. The level design encourages exploration, and there are a lot of secrets, hidden chests, lore entities, new outfits, and lightsaber parts. Speaking of which, the lightsaber customization system is a nice touch. You can change the color, the uh, the material, even the sound if you get the deluxe edition, of course. It doesn't affect gameplay, but it's super fun to personalize your saber. Now, the only downside, the map. Look, I appreciate the idea. It's a 3D hollow map that shows doors, pathways, and objectives. But it's confusing, especially if you have been away from the game for a few days. Trying to remember where to go next can be frustrating. A few simple improvements to the navigation would have helped a lot. Now let's talk about the another important aspect of the game, which is the characters, because Fallen Order has some great ones. Like Cal himself is a likable lead. He's not the chosen one like Anakin Skywalker or some ultra powerful Jedi. He's just scared, unsure, and kind of broken, which makes him more relatable. Cameron Monaghan, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, does a great job giving Cal depth and personality. And on the other hand, Siri, which is our mentor, is one of the most interesting characters in the game. She's struggling with her own past, and her journey is almost as compelling as Cal. Then Grease, which is our pilot, adds some comic relief, and he's funny and etc. The villains are great too. The second sister, one of the Inquisitors, has a strong presence and a solid backstory that ties directly into the main plot. You also run into other Inquisitors and plenty of classic Imperial enemies. And yes, the most important, the Darth Vader cameo. I won't spoil too much, but when he shows up, everything changes. It's one of the most intense moments of the whole game. They don't overuse him, and that's what makes it so powerful. Just a few minutes, and boom, fear, power, and just wow. So, here are some of my final thoughts about the game. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order isn't just a good Star Wars game, it's a good game. The combat is fun, rewarding, the story is emotional, and it fits perfectly into the Star Wars timeline. The characters are strong, and the world is full of things to explore and uncover. Sure, there are a few weak spots, the puzzles can slow things down, and the map design could definitely be better, but none of what ruins the overall experience. If you are a Star Wars fan, this is a must play, and even if you are not super into Star Wars, you will still find a deep and well made action adventure game over here. Overall, I'm giving this game a solid 8 out of 10. A few issues here and there, but nothing that takes away, from the fun. Alright, that's it for today's review. What did you think of Fallen Order? Did it live up to your expectations or did something fall short? Drop your thoughts in the comments and I will read them because, of course. And hey, if you enjoyed this review, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and tap that bell icon so you don't miss the next episode of Game On. Thanks for hanging out with me. As always, may the force be with you.